roast, give credit, give props to a witness. The Steam Block crew, bear witness. Dan Larimer, Ned Scott. Without them, there's no chain on our block. Rearrange what you got, build a name on our block. See the fame that we got? We all trending at the top. 5-star entertainment group. What I represent. Take your book back and spare me all the sentiment. Steeming, putting money right into my bank account. And I ain't talking about no pennies, this is large amounts.
Make posts, that's all I know. Re-steam like Mo. I'm steaming. Steeming. Crypto, that's how we roll. Power up.
What's up, everybody? We are live from the Steeming Pile. Share this link with your friends. We're going to be on soon. Well, I'm on now, duh. But we're all going to be live soon, so just hang tight. Listen to Rest 100's Steam It Anthem. And send me music that you want me to play as an intro for the Steeming Pile that you have the rights to, and you don't care if I broadcast.
It's more than life out here. 5-star on the table.
Make posts, that's all I know. Re-steam like Mo. I'm steaming. Steaming. Crypto, that's how we roll. Power up.
You?
Get Mo. I'm steaming.
So one thing I haven't set up yet.
Get your mind stuck on this HWTP. Post my life up like
Yeah.
you're looking at a TV.
All right.
Stop your Facebook, get paid for your likes. See, Zuckerberg ain't thinking about your life dreams, but they sell your info to the highest bidder. When I spill it all out, they gon' call me. I ain't even have to say it. It's sorta like your information. They couldn't save it. And I don't need to curse cause this flow G-rated. Find my post get elevated and we never regulated. S-T-E-E-M to the I-T. Blockchain plug you in like an IV. Count up all the voters, the people is taking over. Get paid for your voice and don't let them go take your choice. Remember you have voice, won't stop until you rejoice. You see when it is over right after the hangover.
All right, one last thing.
That's all I
I'm
know.
ready here.
Like Mo.
This.
I'm steaming. Steaming. Crypto,
Hopefully I can just edit it. You don't have to
Power up. Get Mo.
Yes.
I'm steaming.
40. Save. Watch. Check. Yes, looks good. Alright, I'm ready to go.
That posts abuse the site. Steam cleaners they roast. Give credit, give props to a witness. The Steam Block crew, bear witness. Dan Larimer, Ned Scott. Without them, there's no chain on our block. Rearrange what you got, build a name on our block. See the fame that we got? We all trending at the top. 5-star entertainment group. What I represent. Take your book back and spare me all the sentiment. Steeming, putting money right into my bank account. And I ain't talking about no pennies, this is large amounts.
Make posts, that's all I know. Re-steam like Mo. I'm steaming. Steaming. Crypto, that's how we roll. Power up. Get Mo. I'm steaming. Steaming.
We have to be recording, that's for sure.
Ready when you guys are.
Want y'all to take a ride with me real quick. Unplug from this matrix, you heard? It's more than life out here. 5-star on the table.
I'm good.
All right, let's roll.
Hello, everyone. Steeming Pile 40.
Steeming Pile 40.
Yeah. The one, the only.
The
One step
Sean S.
closer
Porter
to 50.
Takeover. The Sean S. Porter Takeover.
Well, I mean, those are your words, not mine, but
You were on fire, so you got naming rights for today's show.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. We've got all kinds of cool, fun stuff packed today. So far, we've got Eric joining us, of course, Mickey and John. So we'll see who else hops in as we get going here.
What's up? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna
Yeah, how you doing?
at a full house behind me, so shouldn't last for too much longer, but be on mute momentarily.
Okay.
Yeah, but welcome. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat a sandwich real quick. I'll just hang out with you guys until I'm done.
Sounds good.
H that shit, man.
No, dude. You mean when he's like been away and then he comes on to eat? Like he doesn't eat until he turns his camera on and then he starts eating. It's like wait, that's what you were doing was eating.
That's
like,
not even me.
Yeah. Like why? Why even bother? All right, I'll be lurking for a minute.
All right.
Sounds good.
So everyone watching on my stream, some of you guys might have yours up too. You call in with that number on my lower third, 646-558-8656, or just go to zoom.us and type in that room number, 468-186-430. That's probably the easiest way to join via your PC or cellular device.
Right.
4G device or whatever.
Yep. And for anybody on my stream, it's up at the top there. There's a phone number and the meeting number's there also. So, yeah, pretty. Actually, it's quite easy to hop on in and say what's up, all that good stuff. So, it's been a while since we've had a random person just hop in.
I know.
I loved those conversations. Those are fun, man.
We need a rando, guys or girls. Be the first one.
TJ was in the old Discord channel that we were sharing, and he was saying he was trying to get somebody that he knows to jump on. So not quite rando, but you never know.
Okay.
So first things first, I guess, just because I feel like it. Today we're
It's
making
your
whiskey
show, dude.
sours. Yeah, we're making some whiskey sours, and let's just get it right out of the way because then we get to have one in our hand the whole time. So, yeah. Just as people come in and start tuning in, and then the first thing we'll talk about, I think, who here read at least my article, if not the actual article for the relatable segment? Anybody? It's okay if you didn't.
I did, yes.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, and I made it through halfway. So I read the entire NASA article too. Thank you, by the way, for sending that. So I read through the entire article there, and
Did not read that article.
I'm on the second page of the actual white. It's their
Right, I started reading that. Yeah,
or whatever you want to call it. Right, their overview of how they want to tackle that problem. So it's so far so good, man. I like it. So anyways, I'll have a few things to say about that from what I've read, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so what I'll do is let's just get right into it because I think that's where I want to start. Let me pull it up. It is from blockonomy.com, blockonomi.com.
I'd say economy.
Blockonomy, yeah, duh.
Blockonomy.
No, you nailed it. Yeah.
No, I like Blockonomy.
Blockonomy. I am new. Okay. Anyways, let me see here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, so as you can see, this is the said article. It is by Nicholas Say. It was published just today, actually. And I was immediately lost, but the basics are that NASA's implementing. Okay, hold on, but I got the basics. basically NASA is implementing a new the automatic dependent surveillance broadcast system, but it's got some potential security risks that an aero computer engineer at NASA is looking to solve through blockchain, basically. And there's a link to the actual PDF of the paper, like Gone Rogue was referring to. And basically, it's kind of just getting into the technicalities of what exactly the potential security flaws might be in the new FAA is actually requiring people by 2020 nationally to use this new database or technology, what have you. And apparently that's what's got the security holes. So he's hoping that blockchain could solve them. Hopefully Mickey has something extra articulate to say on it, because I don't really know anything beyond that.
Yeah,
it's very interesting though.
Yeah, those are the basics, man. Good stuff. Good job. So the FAA is essentially gonna trying to put some kind of I guess you could call it regulation on how they want to see security threats being tackled, right? So kind of like how the EU came up with this idea of the GDPR, and how companies have to have some kind of policy to deal with privacy policies and all that good stuff, personal information. Fascinating stuff. Essentially what they're trying to do is there's vulnerabilities within the communications between these satellites and all of these signals that they're getting. And their solution is, okay, if we're getting interrupted signals, it's kind of like so if you're familiar with like hash functions, a hash function is the exact kind of data or information. Okay, so there's a fingerprint for some kind of, let's say for Sean, your name, Sean S. Porter. You have a very, very unique set of a hash function. So your name will always display that hash function. It's unique. You can think of it as a fingerprint, a digital fingerprint. Whenever that gets disrupted, or some kind of information changes or anything like that, that number changes, that identification completely changes. So that's what they're trying to do, kind of in the middle, so that they know when something's been interrupted or a signal's been tampered with, or essentially tapped into. So it's for data integrity, and they're going to use a closed blockchain, which is the Hyperledger, which everybody is calling the Hyperledger. So it's a big project. The reason why they're going with the Hyperledger is that it's industry backed. So you have IBM, Intel, and a bunch of these other big companies that have essentially tossed resources towards the research and development their protocol. So it's a private blockchain, which is good. If you guys know, Andreas and stuff has always said there's open blockchains, there's private blockchains, there's going to be use cases for both of those. And this is a perfect use case for a private blockchain. A big company essentially trying to keep their information safe, especially in this ever expanding world of digital our digital world. So cybersecurity is a huge threat, man. So trying to essentially come up with ways to be the padlock to that information being transported and displayed everywhere. Yeah, it's good stuff. I haven't made it through most of the paper, but yeah, so far so good, man.
Nice.
Well, indeed. Thank you for that you did eloquently put it much better than I did. But yeah, it is very interesting, and it makes sense, right, that they're gonna be looking towards any new technology. It was either here because of the government, or is being looked to be manipulated or somehow exploited by the government. So
go ahead, John.
Okay, a couple things I took away. One is like you said, it's a good use case. It does show an example of a private blockchain versus a public blockchain. Hyperledger technology and why they're using that. That's important. I think not a whole lot of people know what that is, and that's pretty important and pretty cool that they're using that. So that was all I was going to say as far as my reactions.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah.
was gonna say-
Oh, see, I jumped
I
in
was
there
gonna
with
say
my
something.
nothing phrases, and you totally forgot the point that you were going to make, which I'm sure was more profound.
We love you.
That's okay. If I remember, I'll just butt in.
All right. Let me see here.
Eric is changing his set live.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is the steaming pile way.
Yeah.
What's up, ESP?
Hi, nice to see you. Oh, I thought I was muted again. Damn it.
We tried, but you're allowed to unmute in here.
Fuck. I am so sorry last time. I actually had a little bit of a chat with Gone
Why
Rogues.
are you sorry for that? That was gold.
It was
Yeah.
crap. It was
Yeah.
crap. And
You
then
set me up. It was perfect.
I was ashamed. I was like, oh my God. They actually heard me. All I'm doing, just like we all do, is I'm jamming along to my tunes.
Yeah, no,
And then
it's all
somebody said
good.
something about, what was it? Spalding said something about pitch and timbre. I'm like, come on. It's just me goofing around.
It's like totally getting caught singing in the shower, man. You're like,
Right, exactly. But you know, so I was going to apologize, like maybe on the Discord channel or
I think
something.
you need
I
to
figured-
send a tweet to Nathan Mars and apologize to him.
Yeah, I figured I'd wait till I got here and say, I'll try not to do that again. I can't promise anything. We'll see.
Eric,
Nice to see you all.
good
Always.
to see you. Eric, I heard that you had a successful panel discussion on Sunday night.
It went really well.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah, and actually, myself, I was having stream issues, and you know how sometimes that happens just from the start. It just nothing works, and it
Oh,
just
yeah.
wasn't working. Maybe my connection, maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. It wasn't working, but we had two other people streaming, and they were the number one and number two for views over there. And mind you, we have people on, I don't know who was necessarily streaming on the platform at the time, but there's Noah TV, who has like 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's Dab Plays, which has like 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's these big things, and then the Lino chat was number one and number two.
And then just for like having people in the room, attendance wise, was cool.
Oh man, it was intense. Yeah, it was doing really, really well. We received a lot of compliments on it, how well it was ran and informative and educational. And
cool.
I even received some thumbs up from the staff saying that it was really good, and it's the kind of stuff they'd like to see more of. So
amen.
Good stuff, man. Congrats.
Thanks. It was a good time.
So I am currently, it looks like I'm having trouble. My scene that I set up for my shared, when I'm sharing my screen in Zoom, because it doesn't usually come up in my regular source. It's not working in my special scene. Would someone be willing to take my links and share them?
Yeah, just put them in the chat.
Okay.
No.
Oh, I wasn't. Okay. One moment here. All right. So here is the first one. So today I have a couple new segments that we're going to do tonight. And the first one that I'm going to go into is weird news. So just, going through my local and national papers and whatnot, and looking to see if there's some crazy or weird, funny news we can go over. Maybe talk. It might not always be weird, but something that we can talk about, right? So the first one I am putting into chat now. And bringing up the weird news source. That will work next time, hopefully. For some reason, my screen capture all of a sudden in the last month or two just isn't working in OBS. It won't screen capture. So I'm having to troubleshoot that.
That's you, Spalding. You going to share the screen there? I don't know.
Can you use display capture?
That's what I was trying to use. Yeah, it ends up coming through as like a little tiny, you know how the red frame is in OBS around everything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one single dot of the red frame in the upper left corner, and I can't.
Okay, so right click on the source that's pulling that up.
Yeah.
And go to properties. There you go. I see you. Is that you or is that somebody else?
I think that's Spalding.
That's John.
So if you right click, go to properties and down, and you should have something like two.
Sorry, I'm reading the
headline.
All right. Let's see here.
This is fucking seamless tonight.
Hey, man.
It sure is, John.
At least it's
smooth
content,
transition to new management.
Hey, you know what? God damn it. I'm out.
Oh, come on, man.
So yeah, this one's okay. This one immediately got me. First, because I was like, okay, I'm not immediately thought that this would be legal necessarily, but he says that the sheriff's using cardboard deputies. They say to fight crime, but really they're putting him in like, you know, where speed traps would usually go, and they are seeing a reduction in speeding tickets because they're putting actual deputies close to where those are, and they're definitely catching less people. So to me, it's pretty funny. But my first thought is, I mean, how good you are at spotting them, right? Are you still going to try and cheat them? I mean, the first couple times it's going to get you.
Bet you anything they have BB holes through them.
Are they going to count? Like, are they going to count this? Like, because it's a card, like, because they outlawed them in Ohio, and they said they were unconstitutional because, like, there wasn't a police on scene. Are they going to count this if they have, like, maybe a camera attached to it or something as, like, police on scene?
Well, from what I read, like, they're really just putting it there as a deterrent to try and get people to look at it and be weary, because they never know when it's going to be a real and a fake. Even if they know, oh, there's fake ones out now, it still kind of works, right? Because you never know until you're a certain, length away, you know, whether it's cardboard or not. I assume from certain angles, right? You're going to have to be at a good spot. That one shows it a little bit that in that video, but all in all, I think they're not actually trying to bust people off of them. But instead, you know, maybe there is some sort of law thing where, because if they've got a trap a mile down the road or something like that, but I don't know how that would.
Yeah, if they're just using it as a deterrent, it's probably the biggest waste of money that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean,
you don't know how much it costs, man.
You know
look at the detail. Look at the detail on that, man.
Well, my thought is, because I agree, but my thought is, okay, say it is a lot, but if the deputies could be doing something else, or I mean, I don't know.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, we have the same things in Ohio, but it's just this box. It's a metal box, and the two poles stick out, and then it just it displays your speed. And if you're going over the speed limit, it blinks super fast.
Right. We have that too.
Okay.
So the point here, I think, and I can see this, is that people think it's an actual cop. So instead of the sign, because that sign's like, "Oh, fuck you, sign. What are you gonna do?" Right?
Look at this.
Sometimes you see
here's
cops
what
around
happens.
them.
Here's what happens, though. Like if somebody's not paying attention, looking at their fucking phone, and they look up at this cardboard fucking cutout, and they hit their brakes and they get rear-ended by somebody, then whose fault is it?
It's that cardboard box's fault.
It's the person behind them, right? They say never trail behind.
And then you'll have you'll have rich counties that are going to get they'll get stars to donate them, allow the use of their thing to be put in a cop uniform and put people over.
Yep. Jesus, where do you find these things?
Jesus, some Southern Baptist churches and communities will have Jesus holding a radar gun. Where does it stop? We do a lot of stuff to deter crime in the United States. I haven't seen anything work yet, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think, really, like, this might work in one neighborhood or one community and not in another, right? So it all depends on, because like in Seattle or Bellevue, in a busy place, people aren't even going to fucking notice it. It's just going to, and it won't stay up for more than an hour or two, right?
Yeah,
So,
get blown over in the wind.
yeah.
How do you feel about inspections? I'm not going to talk about speed limits, but how do you feel about the idea that the state has a system in place where your car
there he is, Deputy Wolf,
hits
in the
certain
school zone,
parameters
working,
and you're inspected
and
at some additional expense
you'll never
and
know
money
if
in their
there's an
coffers,
officer with him.
and you go out and you drive and you're presumed to be more safe that way? I mean, and actually, probably the as far as police enforcement in the U.S., probably the single greatest increase in police enforcement was back in the advent of the early automobiles. I mean, horses and buggies, you didn't need a cop on a corner. You just didn't need a cop on a corner the way that you do when you've got traveling, steel framed, big engine,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have problems with all this. Seriously.
All right. Well,
what's far more common than the cardboard cutout? I think it's kind of cool in a way. I think it's funny. Is the camera, right? But is that real police enforcement? Is that real law enforcement?
No.
Right.
We got rid of it in Ohio because it's not constitutional.
Right. So yeah, and the deal is, okay. Well, keep going. I'll shut up.
No, that was it.
Yeah, things to think about.
For sure. Yeah. All right. Well, think about this. What would you do if you came home and two homeless guys were in your house, but they were just in your house robbing you? They were cooking dinner. Do you let them stay?
Hell yeah.
Let them go. That's the next story. Santa Monica, California. Two homeless men were charged with burglary after a California man said he came home to find them cooking. So there you go. He said they let him stay and let him hang out, as he said, as he went and said he was going to walk the dog, and then he called 911.
Hold on, for how many?
What were they making?
Right, that's what I'm at. Are they good cooks? Did they share?
That's the whole, or did they bring their own stuff? Right? They were like, we just need a place to cook it, man. We have the steaks. There was another one I didn't include. There was a homeless guy who was found with a grocery cart of stolen steaks. Right? Maybe they were meeting up. Who the fuck knows?
And in the alley, we've got an outlet. We've got a hot plate, but it's just we needed a kitchen for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The guy said he had a girlfriend, which is the one thing stopping me from saying, okay, who here, if doesn't have anyone else to worry about? It was a couple younger guys. Do you let them stay? Anything else you need? I mean, for sure, I'm going to call the cops, but I'll give you a head start, man. If I get it, all you wanted was a place to fucking eat. It depends. It depends how shitty they are, how late at night it is.
Right. It's like the cops will be called 5 minutes after you're done eating. I just want you to know that.
Well, it depends on whether or not I like the souffle. That's really what it boils down to.
Or fritter.
Right? Or the fritter.
Is that shit medium rare? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, but naturally, it'd pretty freaky out. That's a pretty cool move to be like, oh, no, you guys are cool. I'll be right back. I wonder, were they so high? Hopefully, they weren't, but you never, were they like, oh shit, we should probably skedaddle now.
Skedaddle.
Yeah.
I feel it's easy to poke fun, right? But could you imagine being homeless and being hungry, that you're just going and trying to find an open house and hope that no one comes home for like 15 to 30 minutes so you can make yourself something to eat and get out? Like if that was the true intention.
I know, right?
I was I had this habit for a long time of leaving my front door open, and not like wide open. Sometimes I leave it open in the summer or in the spring to let the breeze go through. Anyway, I'm in the shower, which is right near the front door in this place that I share with my girlfriend at the time, Amy, and somebody's knocking on the door, and they're knocking on the door a number of times, knocking on the door. I just figured somebody I know. Come on in. I'm in the shower, right? And I'm like, come on in, come on in. The guy comes in, walks through my kitchen, walks through my my main room there, and he walks into my bathroom where I'm in the shower, and he's like, I just needed to bum some money off you. The kind of guy that would have typically been on the corner, and it's my fault. I invited him in. I thought he was just somebody that I knew. I'm like, hey, I'm in the shower. Can you hold on? You come on in, you know? And dude, I felt so violated. I basically flipped out on the guy. I'm like, dude, okay, here's the thing. I'm inviting you in like I know you. I don't fucking know you. You just walked in to my bathroom. I'm naked in the shower. And I basically scared him out the front door. And it's probably more my fault than it is his. But, you know, and that's the deal. That's the stage where we've gotten, where homeless people are just like, yeah, I'm not even going to say they're aggressive. When they come up and they jump on your windshield and start cleaning it and assume that you're going to give them money, that's what, you know, aggressive panhandling.
Mhm.
But they got to do a little bit more. They got to do a little bit more because homeless
They're
people,
opportunistic.
well, the deal is we've become immune to them. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Well, like homeless in Seattle, it's like, I'm not afraid of being stolen from, but if someone sees something, it's gonna get stolen. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Always.
people don't get robbed a lot.
Always.
But your shit's gonna go missing if you don't lock it up or you
Absolutely.
leave it in the car seat out, you know.
Right.
So it's like you know, what do you want from people, right? They're
You
out on
gotta
the
do what
street,
you
they're not
gotta do.
getting help, they're addicted to drugs, they're gonna steal shit, man.
You got to do what you got to
Yeah.
do, man. You know, are they the problem or are they really the symptom and we're the problem? I don't know.
Well, that leads me to the next. Speaking of good segments, Eric, what would you do if you were eating at McDonald's? You're sitting there enjoying your fry, you're enjoying your cheeseburger, and then a homeless man, as we're speaking of, comes in with his dead, assumingly pet raccoon, throws it on the counter. That's the last weird story of the day.
This guy, no.
This was in San Francisco. McDonald's. There is a picture of a dead raccoon, so warning to any viewers. But yeah, it's you know, apparently the story goes he brought it in, was kind of upset, which tells me that maybe he thought this was a pet of some sort, or whether it actually was or not. Apparently, at some point, I mean, they're calling police, but one of the customers picks it up and throws it away. No, I'm good, dude. I'm just gonna fucking leave. What am I doing? What are you doing? What is going on?
Well, and he throws a raccoon away?
Yeah, he picked up the dead raccoon and threw it away for the guy. Like, oh no, I'll clean up, sir. You're fine.
Let me get
I mean,
that
come
raccoon
on.
out of your way for you, man.
Oh my god.
Would you like
Apparently,
a
it was
large fry?
eating on the table? Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying today, people. Is I'm sorry, I'm not that good of a Samaritan. I'm probably just gonna let McDonald's clean it up, right? They're getting paid $11.
Oh, it was a Samaritan that cleaned it up?
Yes, a customer was like eating his fries, like, oh, this is, oh, well, let me just go ahead. Probably washed up and went back to eating, the sick fuck. I mean, come on. Weird. Just you move on, man. I don't know. Especially, I don't. Anyways, a very interesting story. San Francisco for you. Ever the interesting city. So,
Oh, there he is.
there he is.
Dude,
Aw.
the raccoon's bloated too.
That poor little guy. I mean, he's
Uh-huh.
just the guy's trying to save his life. Or
It
was he already
seems
dead?
like, yeah. Well,
Was
it was dead when he brought him in.
Oh, he didn't give him out. Did he give him mouth to mouth in the store?
Not from what I read. That was not reported, John. Maybe
In,
beforehand, he was, behind the, back alley. He was giving.
There was a dead possum at Cleveland Brown Stadium at one of the games this year, and I think it was a Thursday night game. We actually ended up winning, and this one guy, like picked him up, and he got on national TV just picking up this dead possum and bringing him down, and then he put him on his shoulder, and then we called him the rally possum. And so then, like, Cleveland was like buying possums and putting them on their shoulder, like stuffed ones. And then this guy got like Twitter famous in Cleveland for being the rally possum guy. He would picked him up, got on national TV, put him on his shoulder, said he's the rally possum, and legends were born.
The old rally possum. You know, I remember back in the day, there was a rally possum. Everyone would follow him. The kids would, you know, play with him. And then one day he ate one of them. So it wasn't very cool anymore. But that's not a true story.
That's disgusting.
It is. That's fucked up. And again, kind of sad because it's like, I mean, this guy's probably got mental issues. So it's kind of, I wonder if you at least thought that this was his pet, whether he was, and you know, I have a couple raccoons. I've had raccoons in the past up in the Seattle area that are become relatively friendly, you know. So, you know, and you see him domesticated every now and then. So it's not out of the realm that he.
I feed wild raccoons and
Yeah,
snakes
exactly.
and squirrels and
Yeah, you can make him friendly.
We used to have this Metro Park, and you can't do it anymore. But you you would go to the Metro Park, leave your lights on at dark, and have a bag of peanuts or bread or whatever, and the raccoons would come out all the way up to you and take the peanuts out of your hand and then take them back and eat them. And there would, at any point, there would be anywhere between 30 and 50 raccoons.
I'm about to
they were-
take that and turn it perverted. They came up and took your penis out of your pants.
Yeah, but then that would be a ridiculous comment, which wouldn't matter
Classic.
to the story.
Classic.
So you could do that. And yeah, it was cool because they would kind of come up, you know, shuffle up on 2 feet, take the peanut, go back, open it, eat it. So
Out of your
Who
pants.
Hello, squirrel. Would you like to feast on my nuts?
You
Hey,
couldn't
TJ,
help it,
you
could
have
you?
raccoon makeup on though, dude.
He sure does. He's stinging it
Are you
tonight.
prepping?
Yeah.
Are you prepping for some kind of fight, or do you want to look like you got into a fight?
Don't show them your peanuts out of your pants.
I think that's what the emo bitches are into, right, TJ?
Stop.
Yeah.
I
ESP
have
and
a plush
ESP and
Pokey-
TJ are going to go into
Hold
a
on.
emo bitches breakout session.
I hate emo bitches. I hate alleged grown-ups.
Anyways, so that is weird news.
But
Ta-da.
sure
The moment
was.
I see the emo bitches, I got this thing. So
There you go. I barely know what that is.
Pokeball.
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 Right. That's about all I know about it.
That's all I know either. Couldn't tell you.
So yeah,
You
next
can
week
catch
I'll have some more weird news.
I
If
could
anyone
do
has
weird
ideas,
news.
you can put it in. I wanted to do another Discord channel maybe where people can put ones that maybe we want
That's
to
a good
cover.
idea.
Yeah, I love it.
Right on.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Cool.
I'm gonna spam that shit
Nice.
with important news.
Of course. So that is the first news segment. Hope you all liked it. We can take a break and say hi to people. How's everyone doing tonight? DJ, you hopped in. Eric's with us.
He's gone.
Oh, he is gone. Okay. No, everyone's cool.
So
Right.
yeah, sorry about
right.
that. I was having issues with. I think everywhere else it's fine, but my delay on D Live was literally for a 10-minute stream was like 8 minutes.
Hell yeah.
It was
What?
buffering terribly over there.
Wow.
Oh.
So I didn't. So I was running through Caster. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's a Caster thing. So then I run it directly through to D Live, and it was still doing it. And then so now I'm running just directly to Vim. I'm not really sure what was going on there, but it seems to be pretty good right now.
You're not getting
I
any
know,
lemons
I've been-
tonight.
No lemons tonight. No, definitely not.
Dang.
But I do have a new feature on my stream I'm pretty excited about.
Talk to us.
I have a fucking swear jar. Titink.
Oh, so you found. I saw you working on
Yeah,
this.
buddy.
So tell us about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a plugin for OBS. The one I downloaded is called a death counter.
Okay.
So you download that. You make a text file, and then you link the text file, and you can key bind it to where whenever you do a button, it adds to it. You know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So and then I also added a MP3 to where it sounds like a can being thrown into a coin being thrown into a tin can as the sound effects when I do that.
Perfect.
So, and then whatever I have, the intention there was whatever I have at the end of the stream to donate it to Tegan's account.
Right on.
So
That's awesome.
And in
Good.
other
Just,
news,
not to
I've
say
been
I'm
more
not gonna,
successful on Twitch than Eric Wilson.
How did this come to fruition, Eric? Like,
well,
what was the-
basically, I'm not against swearing, but it was just kind of getting to the point where like I was playing Call of Duty and I'm just dropping F-bombs.
Well, that'll do it,
constantly.
bro.
And I'm like, honestly, nobody, unless you specifically enjoy seeing people get mad, which isn't my normal kind of clientele,
Yeah.
you know, that's not a good look. So I just said, all right, I'm not against swearing, but I definitely need to slow it down a little bit. So just kind of having a little visible, you know. And then I'm also going to put a chat bot in there to where if I swear and I don't think about it, they can put a command in there to where it reminds me to say, hey, you owe the jar a coin or something, you know.
I don't understand stupid social regulations that don't really they don't make any sense. I understand there's a difference between, you know, a meeting at the State Department and hanging out with your buddies, you know, watching the Super Bowl. But, you know, Kevin, Mickey and I hinted at this during our conversation. I mean, context is key. And he was talking about children and understanding context. But, you know, Kevin Smith, famously in the 90s, the film producer, if you don't know who that is, when he gives interviews, his speech is literally fuck shit hell, you know, and it becomes more acceptable because who really cares? You know, if you understand the value of freedom of expression, you understand the value of free speech and hello, Constitution, then, you know, who really cares?
I care about that language around my 10-year-old though, and the more I use the language, the more I'm likely to use the language around my son.
Well, and the deal,
be more mindful of it.
Right. And the deal is it's image and perception and context but really when it comes to so many, you know, because the ESP, economic, social, and political change, when it comes to so many of these social things where amongst consenting adults, anything should go as long as there's no real harm or difficulty with it. And there's no real harm or difficulty between me and you, Eric. I don't know how old you are. I'm going to guess 27, 28, and I'm ancient. You can say fuck, hell, shit, all you want, as long as it doesn't indicate to me that you're inarticulate and you don't know how to use words, then I'm good with that. Right? Because that's the deal. Until we start flushing this stuff that doesn't matter, we can't get to the real priorities.
Dude, That brings up something fascinating that at least goes on here. So I often get, and I think we have to look at, so this kind of ties into something like psychology somehow, right? So I have a temper, at least with the kiddos sometimes, right? I have. How dare you? So here's what happens when they're doing something that I might not. That's ridiculous, right? I don't know. Let's say I start yelling, okay, and I'm then trying to relay a message. What my kiddos and Lindsay try and do, and I think it fits in with some kind of empathy personality. But what they do is they focus so much on me yelling as opposed to what I'm trying to say, right? So anyways, I think it kind of fits into what we're talking about. But anyways, I thought
it fits in heavily. There's a woman named Alice Miller that wrote a book in the 80s. It's called The Drama of the Gifted Child. And the idea of the gifted child is what they do is they attune themselves to the tone and the emotion and the psychology of the parent involved, not so much the specifics or the content of the communication, because that's what it takes in order for them to adapt and survive, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the drama of the gifted child. But anyway, you can check that out, Alice Miller. And so, yeah, there's definitely some psychology in there. And the danger, of course, is if you have kids raising kids, then what you're doing is you're playing out some formative lie from your childhood, which you've never really worked through. And you're basically manifesting that or acting that out, and it becomes cyclic dysfunction. That's the danger. Anyway, enough on that. Moving on.
I have to be very mindful and practice to not swear around my children. I also have to be mindful to not get angry, and because kind of like what both of you are saying is they respond to that emotion. So if I respond in anger, they're going to respond in either fear or sadness. So the better I can relay my message with just words, letting them know it's okay, but still getting them to listen, that's fine.
And then when they're 18 or 20, you have an emo person like me that still lives with their parents.
No, so here's what happened with me is it's fear when they're younger, but then it exposes itself as the anger you showed as a parent when they were younger, when they hit the teenager years. Because I'm dealing with that right now.
All the science is in. The formative years are crucial.
Well, the last part I was going to say, though, was I like to swear when I live stream because they're not around. So fuck it.
Fuck, shit, piss.
For me, generally when I swear, it's generally from a lack of mindfulness to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that represents anybody else. I just, in my case, and it also represents a general laziness or imprecision with it's not being conscious of my reactions and how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. It's not being conscious or controlling of that. It's just bleh, so and that's the, at least if I'm more mindful with my swearing, I guess it's a little more appropriate. But in my case, when I do get upset and yell or cuss, it's from that lack of control. So that's just kind of my little way of like being more mindful and in control of myself. So,
well, and when I swear,
self-improvement.
When I swear, I think it falls into the category of what's called cathartic swearing, because what I do is I typically go off on technology. I have a low tolerance for technology, even basic technology that doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And I'm like, fuck, shit, hell, goddamn son of a bitch. And I'm not even that creative about it, I mean, we tend to use the same 3 words 97 times. Right. But, but the deal is I wouldn't interact with other people that way because I value that interaction and I don't want to completely ruin it forever going forward. But I do swear, and I swear in a cathartic fashion, and it helps me for some reason, neurolinguistics. It helps me. I work through the stuff quicker, and I just get over it. Anyway, I don't know how we got on this topic, but it's pretty interesting to me. It's fascinating to me, and I think the
swear jar. My swear jar is what got it started.
Yeah.
Well, my main takeaway is why do we have these social norms and sort of considerations that don't really matter amongst adults, and then we segment them.
Because sometimes they do, I think, though, right? Because I was going to say that I'm less than swearing, because I get you can work swearing in, or like you work with somebody new and you're on eggshells, right? Because of the social norms, and you don't know how willing they are to bend and break them, right? But then one of you is the first to cuss, or one of you is the first to say something kind of fucked up, and you're like, okay, this is my sort of person, right? I'm usually too quick to be the first one to say the fucked up thing and be like, do you want to be my friend? But that's just the way I am, right? That's why I have so few but good friends.
Well, I think some of it's generational too. I mean, you can even take that example of the Muslim congresswoman that was getting sworn in, and she was also on video saying, impeach the motherfucker. No, it wasn't AOC, it was the other one. Yeah. Said, impeach the motherfucker. And you could see that Nancy Pelosi and the president had shared language about calling her out for her use of, I just wouldn't use that kind of language. And so I think it's more of kind of a barrier.
Out there. The president?
Well,
in front of her son.
The president?
And the deal is if we're going to talk about image, we have to talk about status. And the deal
she definitely has some balls to say that impeach the motherfucker.
But, if you're just going to use that angle and that's all you have, it's like you don't take out the trash on the occasion. I accuse you, TJH, of not taking out the trash on the occasion, when the truth is you don't do shit. Yeah, or let's say I'm the guy who's the accuser, and I'm saying you don't take it to trash. Meanwhile, I don't do a billion other things that I should be doing. It's just it's image and status. Really, that's the thing, and it's a poor substitute in terms of priorities for taking care of real things that need to be done. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think it's a cultural thing too.
Right.
I'll give you an example. We got my sister. I don't have any kids. I never had kids. I sometimes regret it, and then I see the kids, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I didn't do it. I had fun for lack of trying, though. But anyway, my sister got a bunch of grandkids, and the youngest boy, he's 3 years old. Now, he uses language at 3 years old now. He'll look at his mom and say, "You're fucking stupid."
Whoa.
Now 3 years old. Now, my nephew
Too soon.
and his girlfriend / fiance / former pole stripper. And she is. She's a former pole stripper. She used to do that.
I believe.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, girlfriend work hard for the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they live
Got to do it.
in York, Pennsylvania, which is the closest city to me. I live out in the boroughs because I'm a suburbanite, born and raised. And I ain't living in no fucking city. But anyway, they live in this ghetto. They talk all ghetto. My nephew's in his 30s. I'd have thought he outgrowed it by now. He still has his ass hanging out his pants and all this stuff.
They still do that, huh?
And they're just, and they're just ghetto. I used to tell the boy when he was young, I said, you know where that style come from? That's what punks did in prison. They let their britches sag so they could show their butt and say, I'm open for business. Well, punked. But that didn't work. He still wore his pants like that. But anyway, this is a 3-year-old kid now. It's talking like that. Now, his grandmother, my younger sister, she hates that language. I get mad at people. If I'm out with her and I hear that, I'll walk up to the person and say, look, you need to have a little respect.
Oh, and by the way, anyone that's interested to know what palette I use, this is a vegan, cruelty-free matte color palette.
Why do you?
But that's nice. But getting back to this thing about cussing, that gal that said that congresswoman, she knew exactly what the hell she was doing before she did it. It was for shock value.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
words got her all kind of attention.
They have
Look
value.
at me.
They have power.
Look at me. I got the attention now. And the president, he gonna say something. Hit that nasty motherfucker, to use her terminology. He's a filthy mouth bastard. I ain't never heard no damn president talk the shit he talked about. He's crazy. He's Meshuggah. So, we'll give him that. We all know that. But I mean, it is. I think a lot of it's culture. But with her, I don't think it was culture. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. And she wanted that shock value. She wanted that attention to her agenda. And when she did that, she's all over the news. It ain't about Trump now. It's about girlfriend want to call him a motherfucker. So, but me, when I get drunk, I become 16 again and I start calling people cunts, motherfuckers, and everything else. So sometimes that cursing can come out of having one too many cocktails. You hear me? So
I do that too.
But that's my take on why she said what she said.
You haven't had a couple too many cocktails on this show yet. When is that sergeant going to show up?
No, that's why I banned myself from the Rambling Radio, the re-steaming post of the Steam Post, because I was nasty as hell on there one day.
And Sean Sporter's just getting started.
Drunk as hell. So
you goddamn right, TJ.
So I banned myself. They didn't ban me. I banned myself because
you didn't sing OJ's "Love Train" at the top of your lungs, did you?
Yeah, but I don't think there's no need for that, because what I don't like about cussing and swearing is it's aggressive. It's aggressive behavior. You call somebody a motherfucker, or what's up, my motherfucker? It could be the tense.
Yeah, you can exactly. You can, or like you're a silly fucking goose, man.
Yeah, something like that. But you don't say that to a 3-year-old kid. And his other grandmother on the other side, the pole stripper's mama, who's been a drug addict and everything her life.
Okay, I'm imagining one of those like crime-solving things where the strings are
Well, and we can agree that words are placeholders for ideas, but I'm not sure that should be carried to the point where, because this makes a certain emotional impression, that makes it powerful. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's ideas and intentions too, right?
Right.
Because
It's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
It is tricky because we used to say fuck all the time. I mean, I'm an old Marine. I was in the Marine Corps, you know, and that, you know, we was cussing. We wasn't necessarily all the time being aggressive and stuff. Say, look, you dumb fuck, get the hell over here, man. We use that language all the time, and it became part of my vocabulary. I never swore. Growing up, my white foster parents, who were much, much older, you know, this daddy, if he was alive, he'd be in his 90s, mid to late 90s now, World War II and all that. That's who I was raised by, and I was never raised to talk that way. The worst cuss word I ever heard Dad say was some bitch. He'd say some bitch. Looked just like Archie Bunker, my dad did. Looked like Carol O'Connor. That's why I can't watch All in the Family. I get worked up because he looked a lot alike. But, you know, I wasn't raised that way. And then when I was with my Puerto Rican foster parents, they were Pentecostal and extremely religious in my teen years. So you definitely didn't talk
swearing
that
at
shit,
all,
man.
right?
You get your ass whooped. Mama whoop your ass starting to cuss like that because they were very religious Pentecostal people. So,
put the fear of God in you.
Yeah, we didn't swear on my mom's side of the family, but we swore on my dad's side of the family. And my dad was like, I don't if any of you guys have ever seen that movie, A Christmas Story, how he talks about how his dad could string together swear words and make words up. Like that's what mine used to do. I remember one time he spilled paint all over the kitchen floor. And man, oh man, my sister and I were in the living room and he heard us laughing. And it was like, you want the big puppy coming over here? And we ran upstairs. Yeah, I like stringing together a good swear word sentence every now and again. I definitely
Call of Duty
agree
will
with
do
what
that.
Call of Duty did it, SOCOM did it, like ESP said tech stuff, like just random stuff. I'll have to go on mute sometimes and just swear at this computer while I'm live.
Mm-hmm.
What gets me is stuff that I should know that shouldn't be this hard. And it's like, I'm not this fucking dumb. Yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to go out.
Example.
I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to get hit. Boom. And then you're dead because you started running out into the middle of the open. I know how it goes. You're like, this time, no, I'm going to get him this time. Boom. Right? You got to just take your time. It's like an analogy for life. You go too fast, you trip yourself up. You go too slow, you don't get any kills, right? It's gotta pace it out, man.
Yeah.
Right. Very cool.
I mean, I like to make a bigger deal out of a video game once in a while too than it really is. But yeah, no, for sure.
That's the fun of it, man. Yeah.
Speaking of making a big deal out of video, go ahead, Eric.
I'm competitive.
There's times where you're playing this and you're getting so mad. And you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, right this second, like the world's crashing down on you and you're playing a fucking video game and you're getting mad at it.
Well, don't you think that
was worth it?
Don't you think that's why gaming is so popular now? People trying to escape the reality of the world, the reality of what's going on. We got the Machugana president, the most powerful man in the Western world, and he's Machugana. He's cuckoo. He's nuts. I mean, some of you may disagree, and I want to be nice and politically correct. Not only that, he's an asshole.
Let me try.
I've seen you playing some video games this week, Sarge.
I know. I just started getting into gaming because of Mo Lavelli. I don't know if you know Mo Lavelli.
Only because I saw you like streaming with her.
Yeah, she's on. I got her started on Steam, and I've been just trying to promote her and everything. I don't know how that hosting, they have the hosting on Vim like they do on Twitch. Like if your thing's going, other people can host it and stuff. And I had mixed feelings about that because I said, well, shit, this is their content and I'm restreaming it and I'm getting upvotes for doing that. I ought to track how much I'm making off of this video and then send that to them because that's their content. I worry about shit like that. But
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but the gaming thing, I just started. I never liked games. These, I think the last time was years ago when Wolfenstein first came out. We're talking a long time ago, back when it
Never
was
into like pinball or anything?
Oh, pinball. I played, but I never got, I wasn't all into that stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was a weird kid. I was the kid that the nerds beat up. Nobody believed it when I went to Marine Corps. When I graduated high school, 17 years old, 1979. And then I went to my 10-year high school reunion and dressed blues. And they said, "Is that Danny Lamb?" "That's Danny Lamb." I said, "No, I'm grown now. We called me Daniel, not Danny." That was when I was a little boy. But I was in dress blues and, had a couple stripes. And I was corporal for a long time. I was in 10 years and still a corporal. They said, "What are you, a clerk or something in the Marine Corps?" I said, "No, I'm a corporal infantry. I'm an infantry. I'm in mortars. That's what I do. I'm a fighting man. Got a couple of blowjobs out in the parking lot there at the high school."
Oh, righty then.
It's the best place to get 'em.
From girls that wouldn't have had nothing to do with me in school.
So
Nothing. They wouldn't have
Good
nothing
job,
to do with me.
Sarge.
I walked in with them dress blues. My God, I was the best thing.
That's fucking awesome.
So
I was
wait.
the So, revenge.
So
Payback.
every guru since the beginning of time has said that discipline is a requirement of focus and really flow and being centered. In other words, meditation without discipline is sleep. On the other side, if you try to meditate, you will never meditate. So somewhere is a centered focus, right? Now, the interesting thing about this is that, and that pertains to what Eric Wilson was just saying. It's like game theory and gaming is not without its place, because if you go look at the most recent Kaiser report, and in one of them, I think it's a few episodes back, they talk about in more detail, and his guest host, what the hell's her name? I can't remember. She makes reference to Jim Rickard. And Jim Rickard talks about the geopolitical situation, and they're going into more depth as concerns debt, as concerns credit ratings of various countries, chiefly the U.S., Russia, and China, which are the major military powers. And it's all about gaming theory. So this stuff is important. And it sure is like, if you're playing tennis and you're busy like patting yourself on the back, what a great tennis player I am, you're going to miss that volley. You're going to fuck it up. And if you go all fucking John McEnroe, unless you're John McEnroe, and you're over there breaking your racket, you're going to miss that volley as well.
Yep.
But this stuff has a place. Gaming, in terms of, how it can help us out in our thinking and our assessment of situations, especially when it comes to human stuff, which is a vast gray area. It's not just us. It's on a collective level. This is nation states, in a sense at war or maybe at peace, depending upon how things are going at the time. And it's crucial.
Have you ever read the book Ender's Game? Don't tell me you saw the movie.
Orson Scott Card.
I was going to
man.
tell you I saw the movie.
Dude, don't get me started on that garbage movie, man.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you've never read the book, you thought that movie was all right. But if you've read the book and that movie's fucking.
Book Ender's Game was required reading when
That's
I
a
was
great writer.
for all non-commissioned officers and officers. And
No shit.
last time I checked the Commandant's reading list, U.S. Marine Corps Commandant's reading list, Ender's Game is still on that list.
Oh yeah,
that is
That
required
makes sense,
reading,
man.
And that's how they train these drone pilots and stuff. And the military, even back when I was in from 1979 until I retired in 2000. They had games. They had games, war games that they played. And then when they started in the 80s, when they started incorporating computers and stuff, they actually had for the officers these computer simulation games. Prior to that, they used to play board games. They would have what they call a sand table. They would create a sand table, and it was like playing a game.
Well, what were they playing, like Stratego?
Well,
Well,
no,
you know,
it was a little more
it's like-
involved than Stratego.
well, you know, spoiler alert, but like Ender's Game is kind of the similar plot to the movie War Games, right? Where someone's led into something thinking it's not real, but it's actually a way for the government to try and take the soldier out of the battlefield and disassociate with the death they're causing, right?
Right, and that's it. Now, a lot of older folks, like myself,
And now we have drones, which are doing the
well,
job.
that's it. You know, you got somebody sitting in Georgia blowing up somebody's ass down in Yemen.
Yeah.
You know, thousands of miles away.
Wedding parties.
It's you know,
indiscriminatory.
When you train people in the military, the first thing they do is they. When I went in, it was right after the Vietnam War. It was 4 years after the fall of Saigon. So, oh my God, he drinks like I do. Drink like a fish, like a guppy. But anyway.
Cut some gills in me, boy.
The first thing they do, and I've been to Army basic training. I went there first, and then I transferred to the Marine Corps. More so in the Marine Corps. They try to desensitize you, you know, to the enemy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We would sing songs. What was it? I went in 79. They had the Iran whole deal hostage thing was going on when I was a young troop, when I was private, PFC, 79, 80. And we used to run PT, physical training, they call it PT. And you run and you go for your 3-6 mile run in the morning. And we're saying, what is it? I want to go to Iran. I want to kill the holy man. Left, right, left, you know, while we're running, and songs like that,
right,
to dehumanize these people, because
you hear it from every war, right? You do.
Right. I mean,
yeah, every war's got their own little. Yeah.
Or being involved in the killing of people is not an easy thing unless you're a psychopath or a serial killer or something like that, and you're just wired that way. But most people aren't, and they just ain't wired that way. You know, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
It goes against these principles that we espouse amongst each other as alleged adults, where there are better ways to resolve things.
Well, as human beings, and that's the problem.
As human beings,
the political
universal principle.
Yeah, right. And the political climate in the world today, nationalism. This is not just
brutality. Is not where it's at.
Indigenous here to the United States. We've always been the ugly ones, the mean ones, the ones that go out and just police everything. But this whole nationalism thing is becoming a world phenomenon. You know, you've got it going on down South America, which is going on a lot down there, but you got it going on in Europe now, in England, in some of the Balkan states. These
Where's the Sex Pistols when you need them?
This nationalists, they were a very political group. I remember the Sex Pistols, although that wasn't my type of music.
Now you have Pussy Riot, though.
But it is. It's
you do have anti-flag.
And polarization of people. People just, this is my tribe, this is my tribe, this is my tribe. It's like gangs.
Yeah.
It's like the political parties are gangs now.
Yeah.
They're gangs. They don't want to work together. You know, even within the Democratic Party.
They don't want to work together. And guess what? They're fucking thieving the system too. So they are like gangs, man. They're like fucking, they're like.
Well, they are.
They're like, well, okay, here. Are they opposing mafiosos? Are they like, or are they two battling bosses, family? I mean, because they're not opposing necessarily, though, right?
Oh, wait. Why would you assemble in a certain way around a certain alleged group of ideas, such that you would benefit greatly, and whatever it is you're doing with everything else around you, though it's hypocrisy, it's in your interest? Why would you do that? Oh shit! Because you're a small thinking, petty human being.
Well, that's it. You know, global warming, there's no such thing. If you don't believe me, ask President Meshuggah. He'll tell you. No such thing as global warming. It's, you know, if it is warming, it's just this thing that goes on that's normal for the world and everything else. Now, look, dumbass, let me explain something to you. if you smoke a cigarette near a kid that don't know how to smoke, he's going to start coughing. You know what we call that fucking pollution, all right? And you got these smokestacks and all this CO2 going up in the fucking air and everything else. What do you think? What do you think? Why was it here a couple of weeks ago? It was close to 60 degrees here. Last night, it was 9 degrees. Okay? Something ain't right. Something. But that's just one example, you know? And like you said, brother, I mean, why can't we just get together and say, okay, we need to get together because this is an important issue. And, you know, if we solve this, it's mutually beneficial. Instead of playing this one against this one against this one against this one, the progressive Dems against the centrists. They don't like the centrists because they're too fucking wishy-washy. All right?
That's
then
right.
You have the far right. Thank you, Tea Party. Thank you, Newt Gingrich. And all you knuckleheads that start all that bullshit, because that's when I remember it began with the Tea Party.
The Christian Coalition is Newt Gingrich created the Christian Coalition, right? And that
Jerry Falwell. And,
right,
that other guy, Jerry Falwell, with a silent majority back in the 80s. I know, because I was a member.
And then what did they do, right?
I was one of these crazy people. That's why they make me so angry. No, I was. Let me tell you something. I was so right.
What I was going to say is they created the Clinton Democrat, that, you know, Newt Gingrich, essentially. And that kind of led us to where we are now, right? Ever since, I swear, since, you know, the mid-90s, the Christian Coalition was the beginning of where we are now, which is, I'm getting dinner delivered. Sorry, right here. Is the beginning of where we are now because it just
look
is
at
the falling
that.
Part of the politics.
Wow.
Look at that. Can we send her some lemons?
Oh, he's out there on the West Coast.
Pass him along.
He's having his dinner. That's early.
Oh, yeah.
That's early.
But yeah.
But no, you're right. It was a Christian Coalition. Then we had the Tea Party came in a few years ago. Well, it was quite a few years ago. I'm old. It was like yesterday to me. Shit.
It was the shift of the parties, the beginning
10,
of
20 years to me is like, you know, 20 years, so long ago.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Now our Democrats are what were, you know, moderate Republicans. So
but they did that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I know. In ESP,
well, the reason for that,
we were chatting about this the other on our stream on Saturday. So question is, okay, so an issue, one really superficial issue is that you have two factions that essentially represent 350 million people. Well, that doesn't scale, right?
Right.
Terrible. But I guess a deeper question is consensus ever going to scale? Which then brings back the we got into this because we were talking about group think and how eventually it's evolved over time. It happened with religions, and then it evolved into nation states or corporations, and then nation states, and then whatever. And I think I forget what the next one was going to be in line there. ESP, I don't know.
I mean, you'll see
tribalism, spiritual/religious associations, and then nation states. And now the next need at this stage is globalism, though it's unprecedented and we're not sure how to go about it.
Right.
So again, tribes, religions, nation states, and this big ass clusterfuck without precedent. Good luck on that, because the time is short and the stakes are higher than they've ever been. What will bring us cohesion? And is this authoritarian? In other words, do we need a hard and fast? Let's outlaw this. No more fucking animal husbandry. It creates huge problem in terms of global warming.
Yeah.
Or, is this authoritarian time? Or is this time to be more liberal and more democratic and more progressive? More allowance, if you will, for individual freedoms.
I don't believe in either.
Speaking, those ideologies are on the authoritarian.
These are balances. These are ideals, and we have to choose a balance and do something. But the problem is, if you don't choose a balance and do something, there is an industry in between, and it's called exploiting the tension.
Yeah.
Every fucking time, if you don't choose where you are in that balance and do something, and you can't demonstrate we're doing this in a concrete way, somebody's going to come along in the middle and they'll exploit the tension, because that's what they do. They exploit things, and they'll rape it. They'll rape the fuck out of that thing. I promise you.
Well, all sides are at fault. The media is at fault. All the media. I have not seen any media. Walter Cronkite, where are you when we need you?
Yes,
I have not seen any media
Mhm.
that is not has an agenda
Mhm.
or has we used to have on the news shows what they called an editorial, and a guy'd get up there and he'd give his opinion.
Counterpoint. Yeah, right.
You didn't have as much spin. You had some spin, I'm sure. Through all the ages, you had some spin, but not to the point that you have it now. I blame the media. I am no fan of super progressives. I am no fan of the alt-right. I'm not a fan of any of them. And but somebody tries to put an ism on me. I'm a former district captain of the Democratic Party in here in little old Yo. This little township here is so small. I think I knocked on four doors and I got the whole damn township. So my job was easy. But anyway, I resigned. I left the Democratic Party because they're two sides of the same coin. Because they're both tribal. They're tribal. These people up there, McCain, you can say what you want to say about him. He was a centrist. And yeah, they go up there and they do bad stuff. And sometimes they have to do bad stuff, and I'm not defending him or I will praise him because he did do a lot for the country. He was a man of service, both in uniform and out of uniform, as a statesman.
Sure.
But he was a statesman. I was for Jim Webb during the 2016 campaign, but he said something about blowing a guy up with a hand grenade, and he was fucking done. I knew the man personally when I was in the Marine Corps. I drove for him when I was a VIP driver right after he resigned as Secretary of the Navy under Reagan. So I had met the man in person. I mean, we weren't drinking buddies, but I had met him in person.
Mhm.
John Kelly resigning. John Kelly's my godfather. When I was in the Marine Corps and I converted to Roman Catholicism from the Episcopal Church, he was my sponsor. I knew him when he was a young captain in the Marine Corps. I knew him then when he was young, and I know he
Can
lost.
you remind me how this was? You started talking about media?
But it's because I'm getting all ADHD here. But what I'm saying is, these are centrists.
Yeah, I've
These
been
are
there
people
before.
that are not too far left.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's right for me. Is that left for you? No, that's.
I know. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Not too far this way, because that's that tribalism. These people I mentioned: John McCain, Jim Webb, John Kelly.
I think the problem
is Mad Dog.
Madison.
I didn't even know him.
But the point is, when you look at the news and there's no real news, and you strongly suspect that they're corporate shills, and you go to do some research and you find out, in fact, they are corporate shills, guess what? You are not the guy wearing the tinfoil hat. Right. That just means that there's a mass delusion going on, and you need to learn more and find other routes.
Well, that's it. And there's no reason why we can't.
Yeah. Well, the left
got the internet.
Itself,
we
right,
have
Sarge?
the world at our fingertips. I mean, we got the world at our fingertips.
But Sarge, we live in our bubbles, right, Sarge? Even online, we go in our bubbles, right? So the left is getting to the point where they're eating their own kind. And I'm in Seattle. I swear it might be the epitome. I can go and look at someone that one day is going to go to the march through Seattle that's against climate change, but then they're going to go to their favorite bar and they're going to be drinking fucking almond milk and steak, and they have no fucking idea that those are the two major contributors to the drought in California, right?
Well,
they
sure.
think about these sort of things because why? The media doesn't say anything about it because the media's got ulterior motives, because the media was handed to the government and big corporations, decades ago by the government. And,
that's why I like to talk. You know who I like to listen to? I don't like to listen to any of these pundits on the TV, them pundits, them people they bring in and they give all their opinions on meat.
Sure.
And all that shit. I like to listen to the men of science and the women of science. The scientists, because a lot of them, they'll tell the truth.
And that's the great thing about podcasts, actually, is that anyone can go out and start their own fucking show. You don't have to listen to a middleman anymore. Oh, shit, this person talking about science anymore, but they're a comedian. Well, if you're really interested in it, yeah, they're going to do a funny take of it, which might be more palatable to the masses. But if you really want to know more, there's somebody out there that knows more. If you're into astronomy, you can listen to Joe Rogan. They're talking about it all the time. But if you want even a better perspective, you listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast, right? And
Jesse the Body was on Joe Rogan too.
Oh, everybody. Well, that's my point is, you can listen to something like Joe Rogan. You can have an expert come on, and half of them have their own podcasts. You can follow that. And now you've got someone that's right there doing the research. And, that's even better in my opinion.
I mean, you got RT. Matter of fact, that's the first interview.
But see, there you go. RT's reporting on other people that are RT, the Young Turks, traditional news. They're all interviewing people. That's why I love podcasting, because it's really easy. You sit, you don't have to look good, you don't have to smell good, you don't have to have good fucking lighting. You sit in front of any fucking microphone. If you have something good to say, I don't even care if it sounds like shit. If you're an expert,
these people that you call the left aren't even the left. They're particular, like these ideologies like liberalism and progressivism are actually right wing. And like when you go like left into like the left of the actual political spectrum, where I'm actually sitting in the libertarian left, like anarcho-communism, anarcho-socialism, whatnot.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's like, for example, here I am, an old guy.
What they want, I actually been ostracized from a lot of my friends who are liberals because our ideas are so.
TJ?
Huh?
What do you mean by they? Who's they exactly? I thought you said it's different from what they want. Friends. Or do you mean like
our motives politics. Are so?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, sorry.
Wholly opposite. Like they want to do like this and that. Like, for instance, just the other day, one of them silenced me on their Instagram account because they wanted to start like a little thing about how African Americans talk about, how white people say that they should get over slavery. And I said the better question would be, why you guys continue to argue with each other when there's more important things that we should be working on as a united world? And they basically censored me. She basically said, oh, you're a white male, you don't understand this, da-da-da-da-da, before deleting my comment.
Yep. Well, I understand.
That's unfortunate, and I could see how that's frustrating. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
White privilege, and it is there. We do have the white privilege, and we can't understand. Black, and I get where they're coming from. I mean, one of my good friends that I met down there on the Democracy Now! March was a guy, Jamal. You remember Jamal, Mickey? He was always in the back bringing people up. Big guy, former Marine.
Yeah,
and
I don't remember.
And we talked about that. He's on Facebook a lot. He goes on a lot of marches. He's 60, but we talked a little bit about that. And I said, I understand, because the way white people sometimes look at black people, and it's cultural. It's kind of embedded. Maybe not so much with your generation. Maybe my generation and older generations. And no, I can't understand. I've never been black. I can't tell you nothing about it. I lived in a Latino culture in my teen years, my foster parents, Mommy and Papi Lopez, but I'm not Latino. I'm as white as it get. I'm Norwegian Irish.
Yeah.
I'm white bread, brother. But
Well, I'll tell you that, like, you know, living in Seattle where it's progressive, still, like, my dad thinks that he's met one black person in his life, and so he extrapolates that to how all blacks are. He's like, he's literally said to me, well, Al, you know, he's just not that hard of a worker, you know, they're just kind of lazy. And I'm like, holy shit, Dad.
yeah, but that's it.
You sound dumb, right? You're, you know, one person and you're trying to contribute it to a whole fucking race of people, a whole generation of people. I'm like trying to tell him, like,
And that's what I find to be contradictory about these progressives and liberals and all these conservatives and like all the people in the mainstream political spectrum is like, you say that you're all about equality here, and then that you want all this and that over here, but yet here you guys both are bitching and complaining at each other with this different shit, making people like us
But
and
they're
the
making
libertarians.
they're making it worse.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They are making it worse. And I remember that there was a political gathering.
Okay, Eric, just leave.
Go ahead.
I know there was. No, you're good, man. I remember there was a political gathering after the entire 2016 campaign, and it was, you know, committees, organizations getting together to discuss issues and all this stuff, right? And I remember that there was, and here's how it perpetuates. And I saw this happen from the outside.